Everybody talks about wealth. They talk about money. They talk about success. But let me tell you something right now. Most of them have no clue what they're talking about. The media, clueless. The so-called experts on television, total phonies. They've never built anything. They've never had their name on a building. They've never negotiated billion-dollar deals. But they want to tell you how wealth works. Give me a break. I've been rich. I've been broke. I've been hated. I've been loved. And I came out on top again and again. Why? Because I know how money works. I know how power moves. I know what it takes to build wealth that lasts. And believe me, it has nothing to do with playing it safe. It has nothing to do with being liked. It has nothing to do with getting a gold star for participation. You want wealth? Real wealth? Then you better start thinking like a winner. Not a whiner, not a weakling, not some crybaby who complains when life gets tough. Winners don't wait. Winners don't beg. Winners build. They create, they dominate. That's what I've done my entire life from Fifth Avenue to Pennsylvania Avenue. I didn't just make money, I made a legacy. And let me tell you something else. Wealth isn't about one big win. It's not about luck. It's not about striking gold once and retiring. It's about endurance. It's about mentality. It's about staying in the game long after everybody else quits. That's what makes you rich. That's what keeps you rich. And that's what they don't teach you at school. Because school is designed to make you obedient, not wealthy. So if you're ready to stop being soft, if you're ready to stop acting broke, if you're ready to play this game like a damn empire builder, then listen up. I'm going to tell you the truth, the raw truth. The kind that makes you uncomfortable. The kind that shakes you, the kind that wakes you up. Because believe me, everything they told you about wealth, it's a lie. And I'm going to burn that lie to the ground. You want to talk about failure? Good. Because that's where real wealth is forged, not in comfort, not in applause, not in some cushy office with lattes and laptops. Wealth is built in the trenches, in the war zone. And I've been there. I've been deeper in debt than most people will ever see in their lives. $900 million. That's not a typo. That's real. I was in the hole so deep the banks were circling. The media was celebrating. The haters were already writing the end of my story. But here's what they didn't understand. I don't break. I don't disappear. I don't play dead. I come back swinging. Back in the early 90s, things got ugly. You know the story. The real estate market collapsed. This project stalled. Cash flow dried up. And just like that, everyone who once shook my hand started turning their backs. It was incredible to watch. 1 minute you're a genius, the next you're a cautionary tale. But that's how the world works. Fair weather friends, fake smiles, temporary allies. But I wasn't looking for sympathy. I wasn't hoping for some bailout or miracle. I went to work, I looked at the wreckage, and I started digging my way out. While the media was laughing, I was renegotiating. While the public was mocking, I was strategizing. I sat across from cold-blooded bankers who wanted to destroy me and made deals they couldn't refuse. I sold assets I loved. I cut where it hurt. I did what I had to do. Not because I wanted to, but because I had to. That's wealth building. That's empire mentality. You do what weak people won't. You endure what soft people can't. You eat the pain, you swallow the ego, and you push through. They thought I'd vanished. They thought Trump was finished. But I didn't just survive. I came back with a vengeance. Stronger, smarter, richer. And when I walked out of that storm, I wasn't the same man. I was fire tested. I was sharper than ever. I had seen the abyss, and I had walked out with my head high. You can't teach that. You can't fake that. That kind of power only comes from getting punched in the face by reality and refusing to go down. Most people never recover from failure because they weren't built for it in the first place. Their self-worth is tied to how things look, how people perceive them. They care more about followers than fundamentals. They'd rather appear successful than actually be successful. That's why when they lose, they fall apart. They melt. But I learned early on, failure is part of the deal. It's not a punishment. It's not the end. It's a test. And if you pass that test, the doors open wide, bigger than before. I used every failure to build leverage. I studied every loss. I documented every deal that went sideways and learned how to fix it. That's the difference between a player and a pretender. A player adjusts. A pretender disappears. I didn't disappear. I doubled down. And the banks that tried to bury me, they came back later asking to be in business again. Why? Because even my worst was better than most people's best. Because they knew I was the real deal. I wasn't scared of hard times. I didn't crumble under pressure. I executed under fire. Let me tell you, real wealth isn't built when everything is going right. It's built when everything is going wrong. That's the secret. You want to know who the real winners are? Watch what they do when the market crashes, when the headlines turn, when the bank account is bleeding. That's where kings are made. That's where you find out if your empire was built on stone or sand. I found out mine was built on iron. I rebuilt my foundation by thinking long term. Everyone else was panicking, selling, fleeing, hiding. But I was already playing the comeback game. I saw where the market was going. I saw where I needed to be. I positioned myself before the next wave came, and when it did, I was ready. That's how you win. You don't react. You anticipate. And when the window opens, you strike hard, fast, without apology. You know what most people do when they lose? They lower their standards. They start playing small. They say, well, maybe I wasn't cut out for this. That's nonsense. That's loser talk. I didn't lower anything. I raised everything. I rebuilt with even higher ambition. I didn't say, let me survive. I said, let me dominate. And I did. That's how I turned 40 Wall Street into a trophy. That's how I flipped debt into profit. That's how I went from almost bankrupt to billionaire. So many people message me saying, Mr. Trump, I just need one shot. But when life gives them a shot, they miss it. They hesitate, they overthink, or they bring the wrong mindset. You can't build wealth with a broke mentality. You can't win with a scared mind. And you sure as hell can't rise if you crumble every time something doesn't go your way. You've got to build resilience like a muscle. You've got to train your mind like a Navy SEAL. And when the world hits you, you smile and hit back harder. I'm not special. I'm not superhuman. I just don't quit. That's the whole thing. People think wealth is about some secret investment or crypto coin. No, it's about durability. It's about stamina. It's about how many punches you can take and still move forward with clarity and control. I had millions of people rooting for my failure. I had entire networks obsessed with my downfall. And I still rose. Because I'm built different. Because I don't let noise stop me. Because I made up my mind and I never unmade it. You've got to decide that failure isn't a stop sign. It's a green light. A hard-earned, blood-stained green light that says you've got what it takes. If you run from it, you'll stay broke forever. If you face it, learn from it, and act with speed, you'll make more in 5 years than most people do in a lifetime. That's not theory. That's my life. I've lived it. And I'm telling you, it's real. So next time things fall apart, don't cry. Don't panic. Don't run to Twitter begging for advice. Sit down, get clear, get ruthless, and make your next move your best move. That's how real wealth is built. Not from perfection, but from persistence. Let me tell you the biggest scam they ever pulled on you. They convinced you that thinking big was dangerous, that ambition was selfish, that confidence was arrogance. They told you to tone it down, play it safe, be realistic. What a joke. That's how they keep you broke. That's how they keep you obedient. They put a ceiling over your head and told you it was the sky. I never bought it, not for a second. I wasn't put on this earth to be humble. I was born to lead, to dominate, to win. And I never apologized for that, not once. That mindset is why I'm a billionaire. That mindset is why I never stayed down. You want to build wealth? It starts there. Most people don't have a money problem, they have a mindset problem. They're scared to ask for more, scared to demand it, scared to believe they even deserve it. You think a billionaire wakes up thinking, I hope today's okay? No, he wakes up thinking, let's take over the damn day. He thinks in millions, moves in millions, speaks in millions because he expects millions. If your mind is still stuck thinking in hundreds, you'll never see real money. That's the truth, harsh but true. You have to expand your thinking. And expansion starts with exposure. You've got to get around bigger thinkers, bolder players, stronger energy. If your circle isn't challenging you, it's choking you. You think money is evil? Then you'll always be broke. You think rich people are bad? You'll never become one. That's how it works. Your mind rejects what it secretly resents. That's why most people stay stuck. They hate what they say they want. They envy success and then wonder why it never shows up. I never hated success. I chased it. I respected it. I obsessed over it. I studied the winners. I took notes. I reverse engineered every empire I admired. And then I started building my own with bricks made of belief and ironclad thinking. You've been trained to think small. I get it. Your teachers, your family, your coworkers, they mean well, but they've been brainwashed. They tell you things like money doesn't buy happiness. Let me tell you what else doesn't buy happiness: being broke, being stuck, being average. That's what doesn't buy happiness. I've had both. I've been up and I've been down. And let me tell you, life is a whole lot better when you've got power, when you've got choices, when you've got control. That doesn't come from a weak mindset. That comes from a winner's mindset. And you have to choose it every day. Let me be crystal clear. Your brain is either working for you or against you. There's no neutral. It's either building your empire or breaking it down. Most people's brains are sabotage machines. They're constantly feeding themselves doubt. What if it doesn't work? What if I fail? What will people say? Who cares what people say? Are they paying your bills? Are they writing your legacy? Are they going to build your dream? No, so why the hell are you letting them control your mind? It's weak, and weak thinking creates weak results. I programmed my brain for greatness. I didn't let other people's opinions shape my reality. I decided early on, I'm going to win no matter what. And I stuck with it through bankruptcy, through ridicule, through scandal, through storms. I never wavered. Because I had one thing most people will never develop: unshakable belief. Not just confidence, not just hope, belief in myself, in my name, in my mission. That's the foundation. That's the bedrock. You build from there and nothing, and I mean nothing, can take you out. You don't need more motivation. You need new standards. You need to stop accepting crumbs when you're capable of kingdoms. You need to stop negotiating with your potential. Every time you hit snooze, you're shrinking. Every time you say maybe later, you're slipping. Every time you say I'm trying, you're telling your brain it's okay to lose. Stop trying. Start doing. Start thinking like someone who's already won. That's how I thought before I had my first building. Before my name was on anything. I walked like a winner. Talked like a winner. Acted like a winner. And then one by one, the wins showed up. The biggest shift you'll ever make is this: from victim to victor. It's from reactive to proactive. From I hope it works out to I'll make it work. That's the mindset of kings. That's how you take control of your wealth, your life, your story. Every billionaire I know thinks like this. They don't wait for the economy to be perfect. They don't wait for the president to help them. They don't cry when things go wrong. They adapt, they pivot, they take responsibility. And they make power moves anyway. People ask me, Trump, how do you stay confident when everyone's attacking you? Simple. I built a mind that doesn't fold. I built a belief system that doesn't need approval. I built a mission so strong it drowns out the noise. That's how I stood on that stage in 2016 with the entire media world trying to destroy me and still won. Because I knew who I was, I knew where I was going. And I didn't need their validation. I needed results. You think you're going to build wealth and not be hated? Grow up. They're going to hate you the minute you rise. Let them. Let the hate fuel you. The truth is, Most people never build wealth because they never become the version of themselves who could handle it. Their thinking is still broke. Their mindset is still stuck in comfort. They still fear judgment. They still need approval. That's why they stay in the cycle. That's why they keep waiting. But you're not going to be one of them. You're hearing this for a reason. This is your wake-up call. This is your permission slip to stop playing small, to stop thinking weak, and to stop living a lie that says good enough is good enough. It's not for you, not anymore. I want you to start thinking like a builder, like a creator, like a machine. Every morning your first thought should be, what am I building today? What am I creating? What am I conquering? If you're not building, you're decaying. If you're not growing, you're dying. There is no middle ground. Wealth doesn't live in hesitation. It lives in decision. Relentless, daily, powerful decision. That's how I built skyscrapers. That's how I licensed my name worldwide. That's how I made Trump a brand known in every corner of the world. Because I never stopped deciding to win. Change your mind and you change your money. Change your thoughts and you change your results. Change your self-talk and you change your future. You can't think like a loser and win like a lion. You can't operate in fear and expect abundance. The world rewards strength. It rewards certainty. It rewards people who walk into rooms and own them. I've done it my whole life. And you can do it too if you get serious. So decide, right now, no more small thinking. No more fake humility. No more playing down your goals so people won't feel bad. Screw that. You weren't born to play backup. You were born to lead. And that leadership begins with the way you think. Think rich. Think strong. Think legendary. And don't stop until the world reflects it back to you. Let's talk action, because this is where the amateurs get exposed. Everybody wants the wealth. Everybody wants the lifestyle. But almost nobody wants to do what it actually takes. I've watched it for decades. They talk. They dream. They get hyped. But when it's time to make a move, they freeze, they fumble, they overthink. You'll never get rich thinking forever. Wealth doesn't reward hesitation, it rewards execution. Ruthless, fearless, calculated execution. And that's exactly what I built my empire on. You don't build Trump Tower by hoping for the best. You don't negotiate billion-dollar deals by playing defense. You step into the room like you already own it, and then you make decisions that force the world to respond. That's what I've done my whole life. That's how I turned empty dirt lots into landmarks. That's how I made my name more valuable than most companies. It didn't come from playing it cute. It came from taking strategic action over and over and over and over again. Strategic means this: you don't just work hard. You work smart. You study the battlefield. You watch the players, you find the angles. When I bought 40 Wall Street, people thought I was nuts. The building was old. It was forgotten. It wasn't flashy. But I saw the opportunity. I saw what nobody else was seeing. I bought it for dirt cheap, rebranded it, brought in new energy, and boom. I said, win. Why? Because I wasn't chasing what everyone else was chasing. I saw value where others saw risk. That's the move. That's how players think. You've got to move when it's uncomfortable. That's the truth. Most people wait for perfect timing. Let me tell you right now, perfect timing doesn't exist. There's always a reason not to do something. Always. The economy, the market, the opinions. It's the fear, it never stops. But guess what? Winners don't care. I didn't wait for the right moment to make my moves. I created the moment. That's what leadership looks like. That's what building wealth looks like. You act first, you adapt later, you learn as you go, but you go. I took calculated risks constantly, but don't confuse calculated with scared. I wasn't timid. I wasn't playing not to lose. I was playing to win. And that's what most people don't understand. They prepare themselves into paralysis. They study so much they never strike. While they're still watching YouTube videos, I'm closing deals. That's how I've always operated. Action over theory. Results over perfection. Winners get messy. Losers stay clean and confused. Let's get one thing straight. If you're not using leverage, you're not playing the game right. I've used leverage in every form: financial, brand, media, time, people. I borrowed to buy, licensed to scale, delegated to multiply. That's why I build fast. That's why I build big. You want to build wealth? Stop trying to do everything yourself. Build a machine, a brand, a team. That's how you stop trading hours for dollars and start compounding your power. You don't get rich being a one-man army. You get rich building an empire with leverage at every level. Look at my name, just 5 letters, T-R-U-M-P. And yet I turned it into a global business. Hotels, towers, products, television. I put that name on everything not because I wanted to see it in lights, but because I understood the most powerful currency in the world is brand. You can sell steel, you can sell cement. But when you sell your name and people trust it, you've got leverage forever. My name became the product. That's strategy. That's elite level wealth building. I didn't just build wealth, I positioned myself. That's something most people miss. They grind, they hustle, but they never position. They never ask, how do I become irreplaceable? How do I build something that makes me the center of gravity in my industry? That's what I did with real estate. That's what I did with media. That's what I did with politics. I made myself the conversation. Love me or hate me, you couldn't ignore me. And that's the point. Wealth follows attention, but not random attention, focused, powerful, strategic attention. Another thing, stop trying to be liked. Seriously, it's killing your momentum. I didn't build wealth by making everybody comfortable. I did it by disrupting the space, by being bold, by saying things others were too afraid to say. You want people to respect you? Then stop needing them to like you. Stop bending every time someone criticizes you. Every building I ever put up was attacked. Too tall, too shiny, too much gold. And now, they're landmarks, icons. The same critics are the ones trying to get inside. That's the game. You lead and then they follow. Let me tell you another secret. Wealth loves speed. That doesn't mean recklessness. It means decisiveness. The faster you move, the more chances you create. The more doors you knock on, the more rooms you enter. Most people miss opportunities because they're too damn slow. I've made deals in minutes that changed my life forever. You've got to be ready. You've got to be sharp. You've got to train yourself to make fast, firm, fearless decisions. That's what separates players from pretenders. I don't waste time. I don't ask 10 people for their opinion. I trust my instincts and I go.